So what do you say we get right into the thick of it here? Meteorologist Mike Seidel is in Mississippi this morning. And Mike, it's always exciting to see snow in the south. Tell me it's coming down heavy enough to at least be accumulating on the grass.
Oh, it is. Look at this. We've got about 1.5 inches of wet snow. I want to show you, you can't do this often, Stephanie, in Mississippi. I'm talking about rolling a big snowball because it's gloppy. So you just roll it and it just sticks together. See how big, oh, it's flaking apart. But you get the idea. It's heavy, wet snow, 34 degrees. That's the way it's been through the entire event. I looked out of the hotel last night, started snowing around 10 o'clock here, Central Time. It's going to snow for a few more hours. You can see on the radar, the back edge of the snow is now about to cross the Mississippi River out of northwest Louisiana. So a few more hours, we'll end up with 2 to 3 inches of snow across the area. The warning, as Stephanie mentioned, continues until noon. And you can see that temperatures this afternoon will head right up into the upper 30s to near 40. So if you want to make a snowball, a snowman, do it as soon as you can this morning. Once we get some daylight, you can see what you're doing. By the way, the roads are fine. No problem, Stephanie. We've got just wet roadways. Steph?
All over the place.
Mikey, I'll take it. What do you mind? What do you say? I'll take it. Let's go to Mikey, who's in Winona, Mississippi this morning, talking about the snow. Mike Seidel, tell us about how much snow you've got on the ground there and how happy the folks are to see a little snow in the south. I mean, they got to be ecstatic.
Yeah, they're pretty happy. I talked to a few folks at the Waffle House. They were excited, and they're happy because you can get around, Jim, with really no issues. It's 34, snow is wet, and it sticks to everything. It's that white mud. Oh, boy, what a great way to start a Monday in mid-January. This is what happens when you make a snowball in the south. I think Jen Carfagno tweeted out or sent a picture out a year or so ago. You always end up with pine straw. Look at that. Oh, it's got... Maybe it's, we'll call it, maybe it's the head to a snowman. We got some hair here, more hair than Jim. Anyway, let's take a look at the radar and we'll show you what's going on. The radar shows the back edge of the snow coming across the Mississippi River. So it's moving southwest to northeast. So in a matter of a couple of hours, it's going to wind down here in the Greenwood area over here in Winona. Temperature is still 34, so that's saving us from any major issues on the roadways. As far as the forecast goes, the warning goes till noon. We've got 2 inches on the ground. Jim asked me, I just measured 2 inches of snow on the ground, on the grass. Roads, you can see, are just wet. And then by this afternoon, our temperatures are going to head up 38, 39, maybe 40 degrees. So by the time you head home from work, this is all going to be gone. It's going to be melted. Between temperatures pushing 40 and daylight, the snow will just poof. It will melt, and the roads will dry off. And later this week, temperatures get back into more seasonable highs in the mid to the upper 50s. But Stephanie, for this far south, this is a pretty good snowfall. Jackson with 1.2, that's twice their seasonal average. 1.2, their average is 0.6. So pretty remarkable snowfall. Not the numbers we had in Texas, so thankfully we have no power outages from the storm here in the state.
And I'm going to show those power outages here momentarily, but I would say get outside ASAP. I'm going to get into meteorologist Mike Seidel, who's been in the thick of it all morning long. And Mike, let's first talk about how much is falling, because, you know, even if it's just 1 or 2 inches, that's still a lot for the south.
That's a lot of snow here. Jackson averages 0.8. They've had 1.2, so they're 1.5 times their seasonal average. And some years they don't see any snow, not even a flake. We often see that too, even in Atlanta, farther north. But it is that heavy, wet snow. We've been making snowballs all morning. It's perfect for making snowballs, a snowman. But do it while you can, because temperatures today are going to eventually head up to about 40. Let me see. High and inside. How about that? Okay. That was high and outside. As far as the snowfall goes, it's beginning to taper off. But I want to show you what's going on the highways. That's the big story, or the lack of a big story. We're looking down towards I-55, and the roads are just wet. Now, the temperatures here and in Jackson have dropped to 33 as of the top of the hour. So we're just a degree above freezing, but we also have daylight. So that is going to be helpful. and I don't think there's going to be any significant issues on the roads. They're just wet this morning. They did pre-treat at least a lot of the stretch of I-55 I was on coming up from Jackson up here to Winona. Stephanie?
All right, Mikey, so how long will people have to play in the snow is a big question, right?
Well, yeah, the question is, how long does this stick around? Well, the snow's going to wind down in a few hours. On radar, you can see the back edge now coming across the Mississippi River. But then the temperatures come up, and this is just going to compact and melt. And I can guarantee you that by the time the sun sets today, this will be gone. I mean, like poof, even though we're not going to get any sunshine. And then later this week, we go back a little bit above average with temperatures pushing 60 degrees. So enjoy it while you can. I think that's the good thing, Stephanie, about snow in the south. Most of the time, it's not a long-term headache and impact. But as Jim and I discussed earlier, if you had Arctic air coming in here and temperatures were, say, right now 25 and we're going above freezing, we'd have big, big issues. And speaking of impacts, the Montgomery County Winona Consolidated School District, they threw in the towel late yesterday ahead of this. They didn't even want to mess with it for in-person classes. They'll go back into class tomorrow morning.
I think it's a good day for the kids to just learn about snow and go out and play in it, frankly. Enjoy that Monday. Their mind is going to be hardly, meteorologist Mike Seidel is in the thick of things this morning. Right, Mikey? In the state of Mississippi. So, hey, Mike, I wanted to ask you right out of the gate, how many plows do they have in the state of Mississippi?
I don't know. I know they have plows,
what?
But we haven't seen anything. I'm sorry. I'm honest. I don't know how many plows they have in the state of Mississippi.
That's okay.
Hey,
go on.
Hey, look. Come on, Jim. It's Monday morning. Put your juice box down. Give me a break. Hey, so here's the deal. We did see the roads had been treated. The interstates have been treated, Jim, pre-treated yesterday. So that's a good thing. And the fact of the matter is, there's no need for plows because it's 33 now. It's been 34 throughout the entire event. The snow is almost over with. But look at this. This is the coolest thing when you've got this heavy, wet snow. And by the way, you better get out and enjoy it while you can because this is all going to be gone by later this afternoon as we warm up. But you can roll the snow and start off and make a nice snowman. How many years can you do that here in Mississippi? Not very often. Jackson, Mississippi averages 0.8 of an inch. They've had over an inch now. Up here in Greenwood, Greenville, and over here in Winona, the average is probably, I'd say, about 2 inches because Memphis, north of here, is 3 and change. So I'm just kind of doing the math between Jackson and Memphis. But look at this. Pretty solid for Mississippi. I've only covered snow twice in Mississippi in almost 30 years at the Weather Channel. So on the radar, you can see what I'm talking about. The back edge of the snow now, not too far to our south and west, coming through now the Vicksburg area. They had snow, rain, snow. Jackson did the same thing. The airport had snow, then rain, then snow. So, Jim, the temperature is very critical, not only here, but up in the clouds because we had snow here at 34, and Jackson for about 4 or 5 hours was raining and 34.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this morning, Oxford, at the University of Oxford, at the airport there, it is 28 degrees. So they're the coldest. They're the coldest spot out there in the state right now, Mike. So maybe a few more problems on the roads up there. Appreciate the report, as always. Let's check out this storm because it was, indeed quite an impact event. Remember, this one, like so many, have started in the Northwest. And
go right into Mississippi. That's where meteorologist Mike Seidel is in the thick of things this morning in Winona, Mississippi. This morning, the DOT is reporting ice on roads and bridges in 29 counties. So, Mike, what are you hearing and seeing about the road conditions? Seems cars are going quite fast behind you.
Well, we don't have an issue here, and we've been talking about the northeast corner of Mississippi. Tupelo's been at 31 or 32 and snowing. So those are the areas where you have to watch the elevated surfaces. And take a look at this traffic cam, tower cam from Blue Springs right along I-22. That's the interstate that goes from Birmingham across northwest Alabama into Mississippi up towards Tupelo. And you can see what we're talking about. Notice where the snow is and where it's not. It's the elevated surfaces. It's the cold air can surround them. And they tend to ice up. You see those signs on the road all the time. Bridges ice up before roadways. So that's the key. Elevated surfaces, the ramps and overpasses, especially in the northeast corner of Mississippi. Here, we're 33, 34. The snow's winding down. No issues on the ramps up here at 55. We haven't seen any. They pre-treated the interstates. I was up there earlier. Everything is fine in this part of the state. You go down to Jackson, too, the same issues. But, again, it's all about a degree or two of temperature and those elevated surfaces. So that's what's going on, Stephanie. Once again, snow winding down. Temperatures this afternoon up in the upper 30s to near 40. So the snow is going to be just a memory.
Mike, that shot of the bridges with the snow and the ice just on the bridges was the textbook example of the issue. I can't get over this shot. It is so good there to show people the bridges and how they actually cool off. They don't have the ground underneath them. They have the wind all around and whatnot. So, you know, Mike, if anyone does want to get into a snowball fight, they really better do it sooner than later.
You better believe it. And this is perfect snowball weather. I mean, it's not too wet. And it's certainly not dry. You can just pack it. What do you think the odds are that I could hit the lens of the camera? What do you think?
You know what,
100 to
Seidel?
1.
That's a big snowball. I'm gonna say it's good. I'm gonna be positive here. See if you can do it.
If
Come
you
on,
break
Mikey.
it, you buy
man,
it.
not even close.
Oh, I just missed it.
Huh?
I said 100 to 1.
But is anyone gonna dunk down into the dunk tank? Is the question if he does hit it.
Hold on,
Should we
here
stay
we
with
go.
Mike's shot till he hits the lens?
No, we'll be here all day.
No. No, the snow will be gone before that happens. It'll melt.
There you go. Well played, Mike. You want everybody
this is
to
like a $40,000. This is a $40,000 camera. I'm purposely taking them inside and outside. You believe me, don't you?
Yeah, right. We believe you, Mikey. Jim, you believe him, right?
Everything out of Mike's mouth is believable, right?
This is Mike Seidel. He's been there in Mississippi in the Winona area. And Mike's still dealing with some of those flakes around, but it seems like the roads have held up pretty well.
Yeah, Alex, the roads have been fine because the snow has fallen. The temperatures, most of it fell at 34. And 33, now 34, and now we've got daylight. So we have no issues in this part of the state. With that said, the northeast corner, up around Tupelo, those areas where 22 comes in from Birmingham, that's where they've had some issues on the elevated surfaces because temperatures have been right at freezing. But even there this afternoon, it goes up above freezing. Let me take you back to this morning before sunrise when it was coming down pretty good. And, for Minnesota, Mississippi, I keep thinking of Winona, Minnesota, where I've been live before. But for Mississippi, keep in mind, this area averages about 1 to 2 inches a season. Many years they don't get a flake. So you look at all the snow that was coming down this morning, and the roads were fine. All you had to do is just wipe it off your windshield. You didn't even have to use a scraper. But the best part about it is schools are out today for in-person learning. So you get out here soon because the snow is going to melt. But look how easy it is to make a snowman. You just start with a little ball and you just keep rolling it. Get on your hands and knees here. I'm going to see how big I can make this. I know, Chris, it's going to get heavy, Chris Bruin.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to run out of snow. But you get an idea. Oh, my gosh. Look at that. There you go. So you can throw together a snowman very, very quickly. But do it quickly because this afternoon, Chris, we're going to be in the upper 30s, and this is all going to melt. So now I've done 2, and it just gives you an idea of what you can do. But it does fall apart very quickly. Again, unusual snowfall. In some spots, record-setting for central and central Mississippi for Lana. But Thursday back up to 60, so back to average, even above average.
That's the best, about southern snowstorms. And Mississippi, I got to say, looks really good in white. And pine sticks really work well as the arms of a snowman. I saw a lot of people in the south doing that, especially even in Texas. All right, let's show you where the snow is right now.